what did you watch? What did you watch?
Rear Window.
Watch Rear Window.
And what year did that come out, Tom?
1998, I believe it is.
And who was the star of that, Tom?
Christopher Reeves.
Yeah.
So basically what happened is we, before the podcast, agreed, right, we're going to watch Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. And me, Calum and Aidan all went home, watched Rear Window. The 1958 classic.
52, I think it is.
54.
And Tom looked up Rear Window on YouTube. Rear Window full movie, 100% no ads, and then clicked on the first one, and it happened to be the 1998 reworking of Rear Window starring Christopher Reeve, who is actually paralysed in real life.
And we all saw about 10 minutes of it because Tom hadn't finished the film.
Yeah, it looked god awful.
Somebody's listening to this thinking, I don't want to know about the 54 one, I want to know about the 98 remake.
Oh, you're gonna find out.
We can compare and contrast.
We can use our Nat 5 English skills to compare and contrast.
The denotation of Rear Window is, but yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was very, very good.
It's one of those things I thought. We said about The Shining, yeah, it's very good, and we said about this one, it's very good. But that's if we're going to review classic films, they're probably going to be very good because they're all classics for a reason.
Tom, what did you think of Rear Window?
Your Rear Window.
I thought it was an interesting story about empowerment of the disabled.
So wait, you give it.
That is not actually. That is not what the original film was about at all.
Well, give a brief synopsis of what the 1998. What happens in the 1998 Rear Window, please.
So it starts off with a woman on driving, and basically she gets into a car accident, and then it cuts to Christopher Reeves in a hospital bed.
Wait, a woman's driving?
So a woman, at the start of the movie, it's a woman driving, right?
What?
And she gets into a car crash.
Was it so bad that she changed genders?
No, she died.
Well, how is Christopher Reeves involved?
Well, that's the thing, he was in the other car.
He's telling you the plot.
Yeah, he was in the other car. Obviously, because he's disabled, they can't really have him driving a car. So what they do is they cut from her.
Okay.
So they have her driving, and the crash happens, and then they cut to Christopher Reeves in the hospital room. So it's like he's the aftermath of the crash.
Right.
That's quite smart.
And then the start of the start of the movie is all about him surviving, and they also what's it called again? What's the gun again? Chekhov's gun. There's a few Chekhov's guns happening in here.
What's the Chekhov's gun?
It's the narrative idea of like you don't introduce something without paying off.
Don't introduce a gun in the first act if you're not going to use it by the third act.
Right.
So they have like at one point his oxygen cuts out. And then at the end, you see his oxygen cuts out again. He has to like try and breathe through it, basically.
Yeah,
and
the killer cuts his oxygen.
Yeah. Right. So basically, the start of the movie is all about him just try and move again. Basically, he's in therapy, in physical therapy and stuff like that to try and get him moving.
To learn how to live as a disabled man.
Basically. And he's this character's all about there's going to be a cure, da 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 da.
So far, it is nothing to do with the original Rear Window film.
Well, you know, it's I mean the guy is literally a paraplegic. Is that the right term? Paraplegic.
Yeah, I think
so. The guy's literally a paraplegic. So they kind of had to explain that in some way.
Yeah, in the original film, I mean, you won't actually know this kind of thing, but in the original film, Jimmy Stewart just has a broken leg.
Yeah, the first scene is it pans down to Jimmy Stewart's cast that he has in his leg, and it says, "Here lies
the bones
Jeff,
of
the bones of
Jimmy LB Jeeves or something."
Jeeves, yeah. So yeah, there's no background to like, oh, this is why. He's in this state or whatever. It's just quick pan down. That's it. And then
it is explained a bit.
Yeah, so he's a photographer and he was trying to take a photo of a car coming down the road, and presumably the car crashed into him and broke his leg. But it's very quickly.
Christopher Reeves was driving that car.
Are we spoiling the film, by the way?
Yeah. I think if you haven't,
kind of need to spoil the film.
Yeah. Sorry, it's been over 20 years since the remake, so we can spoil the film.
Yeah. Well, Aidan was getting rage at some guy ruining Moby Dick for him, which when that
at least we've said we're going to spoil it.
That guy in my work probably read a remake, such a dafty. But there is actually another kind of spin-off of Rear Window, which I incidentally realised I'd watched before the original Rear Window.
Spin-off?
Which is well, not a spin-off, but it's like just such a rip-off that it basically acknowledges it's a pastiche of Rear Window.
Which one is
which
that?
is the think it came out in 2019. It's basically what I read a review that said it was the best written pornographic film ever. It's a 2-hour film with Sydney Sweeney in it, and she lives in Montreal with her boyfriend. And I had to give up because I was in my mother's house at the time, and I had to give up because I was like, she watched this is basically just porn.
Was it like, what's is it the same plot?
Oh, it's they have an apartment together in Montreal, and their neighbours who, like in the original Rear Window film, don't seem to own a set of blinds or know what they are.
Yeah.
Just have wild sex parties all the time, and then he tried to infiltrate the party that they host because they're just, I don't really remember. I didn't watch the end of it, but somebody does die.
What was the climax of the film?
Well, I climaxed early, so I had to turn it off.
But is Sydney Sweeney from Montreal?
No.
Where's she from?
Oh, I don't know.
I would say probably America.
That film is called The Voyeurs, by the way, for anyone who wants to watch it.
Well, yeah, it's a theme in the original Rear Window, wasn't it? Voyeurism, the good aspects, the bad aspects, and he's...
Yeah, well, I watched the whole film and I thought, okay, so the ending, I suppose it was good in that I didn't predict the ending, but I thought like the ending is going to be that the guy is
innocent, yeah. It's
completely imagined by this guy and they're going to lock him up for trying to imply his neighbour's a murderer. And in the end, the conclusion seemed to be voyeurism is good. It's good to spy on your neighbours. Everything works out perfectly if you tried to get the police called, if you tried to get your neighbours swatted.
I suppose the bad aspects of it in the film though is he was dragging his girlfriend Grace Kelly into danger because she was very nearly killed by the man, or at least seriously injured, when she breaks into the guy's house in order to try and collect the evidence. So there's that as points to, I suppose, the kind of bad aspects of voyeurism, but it was kind of strange for the takeaway of the film.
At that point, is that voyeurism or is that just trespassing?
Well, it's a result of their voyeurism.
Yeah. She's trying to find evidence for the murder.
Yeah, they do a similar thing in the remake.
His girlfriend, Grace Kelly, because Grace Kelly's desperate to marry Jimmy Stewart, and Jimmy Stewart, as a heterosexual male, is very understandably like, oh my god, no, I don't want to marry Grace Kelly, I just want to stare out my window at these freaks all day.
46-year-old Jimmy Stewart will not be marrying 25-year-old Grace Kelly at all.
I like the film because the woman, like there's a nurse in it who's from the insurance company, right? Because I don't know, they must do that in America, right? But the nurse comes round to have a look at him, right? Maybe make sure he's not faking or some shit, right? But then, yeah, because they get insurance money.
As you do.
Anyway, but she says,
he's not getting insurance money. His medical insurance pays her
to nurse him.
That's what it means.
No, it means surely the insurance company pay her to come round.
No.
Yeah, so his insurance company paying her. He's not being paid insurance.
Right.
The insurance is that he gets medical care.
Oh, right, okay, right, that's fine. Anyway, so she says, oh, Grace Kelly's such a lovely young woman and you're a lovely young man. Guy's about 56 in the film.
He's like, when are you going to settle down and have children? It's like, bro's 47, man.
He was 46 in the making of the film.
Really?
I had the same idea. I was like, what the fuck? Why is there such a 25-year age gap between these two? But I suppose it's Hitchcock and he likes these young blondes, doesn't he?
At least Christopher Reeve's more of a sort of younger man, I suppose.
What age was Christopher Reeve?
I don't know. He looks like a younger man. He looks
in the remake of Rear Window was that woman like begging to be married to Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve's like, nah, I've got my whole life ahead of me, mate.
I don't want to settle down just yet.
I'm going to climb the Himalayas, mate. That's what I'm going to do.
Nah, so the idea is that he's an architect in the remake, and this woman was put in charge of his project while he was away. And basically, they sort of have this sort of rivalry at the start. There's a sort of like a sort of tension.
She one-ups him after he gets serious.
So basically, he's not very happy about her being taking the job off him, basically, because of
because he's disabled now.
Aye, well, he's still able to do the job in ways like through like speech and stuff.
How can you draw with speech talent?
Straight line, left, up.
I don't know. Computer voice recognition.
Is that mad? He's got some contraption, right, to move about a wheelchair. And it's
What do you call it again?
It's got
Some modern contraption got a wheelchair.
no, but he's got like a suction.
One of those thingamajigs.
Yeah, that's not the weird part of this movie, mate. The weird part is
Oh.
the voice control computers. That's the interesting
Right,
part
I
of the
didn't see
technology.
that. I don't think I saw that.
The breathing tube is not the.
But it's you could suck on it and you go back and blow and you go forward.
But that Christopher Reeves actually, I presume he's
That
dead
is how
now,
he-
but he does actually have
He's
that.
long dead.
Christopher Reeves isn't dead.
He's
got-
undead.
Do you know
He came alive. He came back
he's
alive.
He's long dead. He got brain cancer. Fucking guy. Oh, bad luck on him. You know what I mean? There's a point where he was like totally bald, had like big scar on his head.
I think the fact he was
And-
totally bald is like what the least of his concerns. I think
Well,
that was a cosmetic one
No,
at
because he
best.
had like alopecia and that, I think, as well.
Surely
Surely
got
would it-
alopecia,
it would
brain
have been a
cancer,
result.
while a paraplegic.
Yeah.
It would have been a result of chemotherapy, surely.
No, because he had when he was Superman.
You
he
don't develop alopecia at 50.
No, he had his full life. He had to have like a toupee when he was Superman.
Christopher Reeves never had hair.
He had hair, but it was like really patchy. So he had to have like a toupee when he was like in Superman 3 or whatever. Because he was shaved.
That's funny because he could then be a Superman villain. He could be like Lex Luthor.
He could
What
play
about his
both.
It's
wee?
true.
That is the one where he is both the good Superman and bad Superman. So they could have had him be like bald.
Yeah,
and be
because
like
if you're bald, you're evil because ugly people are bad.
Exactly, yeah.
That's true.
Aidan, there's handsome bald men about.
No, there aren't. Don't lie.
They're
And the other
handsome,
stuff-
but they're all evil.
Very good film, very interesting. I saw an interview with Zizek where he's like, these are my 4 great films of all time. And he said, okay, we'll now do a Hitchcock film. For me, Psycho.
Slavoj Zizek, the philosopher.
Slavoj Zizek, yeah. He basically said that Psycho was his favourite Hitchcock film because Vertigo for him is just still too romantic. When it gets to Psycho in Hitchcock's career, he's completely romantic, completely loveless, very cynical. But I remember Vertigo being much less romantic than Rear Window is because obviously Grace Kelly's in it. She actually at the end has a perfect relationship with Jimmy Stewart. Everything gets resolved.
It's not Jimmy Stewart in Vertigo, is it?
No, I mean in Rear Window. But Rear
Yeah.
Window is quite a romantic film because in
It
the
is Jimmy
end,
Stewart anyway. I'll talk to you.
I really liked I think it's the very last scene at the end. Well, so Jimmy Stewart's whole problem with Grace Kelly and why he doesn't want to marry her is that she's too much of a socialite and she wants to be in New York City and she's made to be in the city, whereas he wants to go and explore being a photographer and go to places like Pakistan and Bangladesh and live out of a suitcase, which she could never do. And then I suppose she's tries to convince him throughout the whole film that she can learn to do that and learn to live like he does. And in the very last scene, she's reading Jimmy Stewart's sort of sleeping, and it pans over to her, and she's reading a guide of the Himalayas, like how to master the Himalayas or whatever.
and then she
And
puts
then
it
she
down
notices
and says
she-
Harper's
she-
Bazaar.
Yeah, she notices Jimmy Stewart sleeping and puts the book down, picks up Harper's Bazaar.
Well, I interpreted that also as in he succumbed to her desire as well because she said, why don't you become a fashion photographer? I can set you up with contacts. You don't have to be a war photographer or somebody who goes on adventures. And the person on the cover of that Harper's Bazaar, I think, was Grace Kelly. So I think the implication was that he was now doing fashion photography, at least somewhat. So it's like a happy,
So it's like
romantic ending. Everything was resolved. Everyone got what they wanted somehow, and yet nobody really felt they were compromising anything.
Compromise this word, yeah. That's the
So
word.
it was a very romantic ending, whereas Vertigo I thought was less romantic, much less romantic than Rear Window, which was Zizek's complaint.
I've not seen Vertigo.
I've not seen Vertigo.
Oh yeah, sorry, I wasn't looking at it.
You've
I
not
went
seen
into
Vertigo.
I've not seen it though.
Have you seen Psycho?
I've
Yeah.
seen Psycho, yeah. I went into Rear Window without really knowing. I mean, I knew that it was about a man sort of voyeuristically looking at his neighbours and stuff, but I thought that the whole film was just going to be like a series of vignettes where it panned to one neighbour's window and there'd be a little story there, and then you pan back somewhere else.
Like
It
an
was
anthology
sort
type
of
It
of
was a
movie.
bit like that, but I thought that was going to be the whole thing. But I really liked how it was managed to. There was a sort of overarching theme and a plot, and you could follow it very easily. Like, okay, well this, but obviously the murder and him solving the murder and whether the murderer actually did it or not and stuff like that.
Well,
Which I
Ebert
thought was really
said, Roger Ebert, the film critic, said that it was very engrossing and very immersive because it was filmed and directed as though you were in Jimmy Stewart's position, sitting looking out of a window.
good.
There were
Yeah.
all these subplots going on, but there was also one overarching plot, which was the spectators, and then at the end, the villain, the killer from across the courtyard, breaks into Jimmy Stewart's apartment, and you feel it's almost as if he's intruded on us as a spectator. Because we're being voyeuristic by watching this all unfold as well.
Yeah, I read that as well. Yeah, I think another thing in that Roger Ebert interview that they talked about was that there's a sort of aspect of human nature where Jimmy Stewart and Grace Kelly get sort of swept up in the whole murder and stuff, and when conducting voyeurism, so much so that they were disappointed when there was evidence against a murder happening.
Yeah, it's self-referential because Grace Kelly says to Jimmy Stewart, if you open the door up on what we're doing right now, we'd look gauche and terribly sadistic because we're disappointed to find out that it might not have been a murder.
Yeah, well, I think that was quite interesting as well. An interesting aspect of the film.
The remake is a whole lot less vague. It's a whole lot less vague. They have it's pretty obvious that something's happened when the murder happens.
Daryl Hannah is the equivalent of Grace Kelly in the remake, which I think certainly a downgrade. She played Gordon. No, she played. Who's the young guy in Wall Street? Not Gordon Gekko.
Young guy.
Oh, Martin Sheen.
Yeah, she plays Martin Sheen's girlfriend or wife in Wall Street. I think that's what she's most known for.
And then I think in Rear Window they really tried to modernise it by having loads of the remake of Rear Window, they tried to modernise it by having loads of technology, and he's got cameras and surveillances.
I mean, you kind of need to if he's
a bit of a goon-like setup. Some would say that's a little
goon style setup.
Do you know what it's like? Another Jimmy Stewart film called I never remember this fucking shop. A Shop Around the Corner. That's what it's called. They made a remake of that. It's not a Hitchcock, it's an old romance, right, with Jimmy Stewart. They made You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, right? And it's all about email. This one, again, tons of email in it.
Yeah, he emails the killer saying, I want to
I'm gonna nail you, pal.
Modern is when the film has lots of email in it.
Yeah.
Email's the future.
I mean, it was 1998. It's that kind of thing where it's like, I want to experiment with new things in my film. And
I'll send you an Evite.
Christopher Reeves is kind of like half machine as well. So
that's true. So it does sort of fit the whole, like, he would need to have all that shit around. Just try to play it straight as the work.
Just plays all that.
What would we give it out of 5 stars?
What, the original or remake?
Rear Window.
The original. Yes.
No, we'll do an average, and then Tom's will right fucking down.
I really liked it. I would give it 5 stars. I thought it was great.
And I in my Letterboxd review gave it 4.5. Which is
do you want to reveal your Letterboxd for the public?
I've actually already said what it is.
Do you have your surname in it?
No, I mean I've basically said already on this podcast for the listeners. I've given them privileged information. I have told them what my Letterboxd review contains anyway. I said way more romantic brackets and less disturbing than I remember Vertigo being, which is a film Zizek calls Still Too Romantic when praising the loveless psycho. Growing old is about realising how true cliches are, so I'm not even going to write anything like Hitchcock was a master. 4.5 stars.
Fantastic.
I think Zizek, he made that film, Idiot's Guide to
Pervert's
Guide to
Cinema.
Cinema, right? He's talking about cinema as itself, like viewing itself, like it tells you what to want. Is what he means, I think, and it's like basic. I wasn't really following because I'm not that philosophical, right? But
did you hear the word postmodern? Now you're trying to use it.
Nah, I'm trying to explain what I mean by that, but I'm not. But basically, what he's saying is that like it makes you.
Even in our dreams, we cannot escape from ideology.
Yeah, well, it wasn't talking about ideology in this case, but.
His whole philosophy of cinema is that it's representative of whichever ideology it's coming from, contextually, socioeconomically.
In the film, I think he was trying to say it's like an ideology itself. It's like it makes you think something. But anyway, this film's obviously about watching me watching you kind of thing. You're watching the film watching you, basically.
Do you know the one thing I will say about Rear Window that I think wasn't fantastic was you remember when the killer breaks into Jimmy Stewart's house?
The flash.
And
thing.
all that he has to protect himself is a bunch of flashes. And so the killer like goes towards him like he's gonna kill him, and then Jimmy Stewart sets him a flash, and he goes ah, and wipes his eyes and stops, and then like 3 seconds later, whilst Jimmy Stewart's setting up the second flash, he's like starts going towards him, flash again, ah, like
Doesn't
just
close
close
his
your
eyes.
eyes,
Yeah.
close your eyes and go up and strangle him. Jesus Christ.
Somebody I follow on Letterboxd talking about ideology and so on, gave an interesting review of Rear Window. I think it was actually Vertigo. He talks about Hitchcock films a lot because that's his favourite director, and he was talking about how Hitchcock is yeah.
My nonce friend actually.
No, we
discussed
can't
this
actually say that. Well, I suppose if I don't name him, but I don't want to get done for slander. I mean, that's a serious.
Allegedly.
That's it. No, not even allegedly. I mean, just.
The guy is a nonce. I mean, he said he's a nonce.
Well,
He talks about being a nonce.
I have inferred from context, i.e. his comments about his dating life, that he might be a paedophile. Yes.
Allegedly.
But he has interesting views on Hitchcockian cinema, and he said that Hitchcock is an essentially Catholic filmmaker. And I looked up, Hitchcock actually was a Roman Catholic from East London, because in his films, the point of death or the point of murder is how awful it would be to kill someone if they're beautiful. Murder becomes aesthetically pleasing if it becomes beautiful, as opposed to Protestant filmmakers where the idea is people who are morally good dying is bad.
Why is that Catholic?
Because Catholicism appreciates beauty more than Protestantism.
Catholicism has a more aesthetic sense than
Yeah.
Protestantism.
It's instead of going to church in a leisure centre, you go to church in a grand building.
Well, it's also about the idea in Protestantism that you save yourself by being so morally good, whereas in Catholicism you are saved by the grace of God.
Well, no, it's
Despite
not,
the fact that you're
that's
irredeemable.
That's not what. Well, there's various different Protestantisms, but the kind of evangelicals believe that you it doesn't matter what you did, it doesn't matter how good you are, other than you believe in Jesus and that.
I get the feeling you're coming up from quite a biased viewpoint, but
No, I'm not. I'm saying, I mean, there is more of an emphasis on, I understand in Luther's doctrines he talked about, sola gratis? You're saved by grace alone, but I feel as though there is more of an emphasis on grace in Catholicism, in actuality.
Well, if you said to a Catholic, oh, there was this guy, right, he never believed in God, and he was totally good his full life, can he get to heaven? The answer being yes from an Anglican or a Catholic or something is much more likely than from a Baptist or
Because they
like
think that he'd be saved by grace.
they think he couldn't possibly be saved because he never believed in Jesus.
No, Catholics might say if he was a moral heathen, like Plato or whatever, they could go to heaven just because they might be saved by the great grace of God. Whereas some Amish or some evangelical would say no, he can't because he wasn't truly good because he never believed in God and did his works.
Alright, okay, I think we're talking cross.
I don't think we're going to solve...
Yeah, well, my grandfather, when he died, he was very unwell before he died, and obviously couldn't, I think a form of Parkinson's, and he couldn't make church obviously because of that for about a year before he died. And in his funeral, the priest that attended his funeral went, well, of course he's not going to heaven because he hasn't been to church for a year, he'll be going straight to hell, and that's a shame.
wait, what? Seriously?
Yeah, he said that in the funeral.
That is so bad. Did he get the last rites and all that shit?
Yeah, he got last rites.
Well, if you work in funeral care, there's no such thing as a loyal customer, so it's you can't get to do what you want.
Sorry, surely
You basically trade on reputation in those gigs.
surely if the priest did the last rites and then turns up the funeral and goes, that guy.
It was a different priest.
Okay,
It wasn't the same guy.
Brilliant.
He did the last rites like a fucking guy.
Just
Certainly
whispering in his
both.
ear like, hope you enjoy hell, mate.
Cal, what would you give it out of 5 stars?
I thought it pretty good. I'll give it like 4.5.
Oh, so you're copying me, right?
Well, I don't know. I'll probably.
I knew he was going to immediately go, no, I'd actually give it 4, or I'd actually give it 5.
Well, I think 4.5 is fair, because some of it is, as Ian said, a bit strange. Like the weird. There's also a weird like flashing effect, from the flashes that they put on the screen.
Yeah.
Because it must have just been the fashion at the time.
And the reactions to Jimmy Stewart hanging out the window were all sped up for some reason.
I noticed that. It was disorientating. I guess it was just add momentum or excitement.
Yeah.
But it was kind of disorientating. It's like, why is this woman running at 2 times speed?
Why is she running at what looks like 25 miles an hour?
Also, I think the actual acting from the guy who's the killer isn't very good.
That's unfair. I think you're finding things to gripe with.
I'm not, because he's not. When he reads that letter, you couldn't fucking have a clue what he's thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, his reaction was obvious.
No.
I thought Grace Kelly was fantastic in it.
Yeah,
I'd
she's
say
very
one is one of the best acting
I'm
performances
not
I've
bad
ever
missing
seen.
her or Jimmy Stewart.
Oh no,
They're
we're
good.
talking about performances. I thought Grace Kelly was really, really good.
Do we have to call her Princess Kelly or something?
Huh.
The late Princess Kelly.
Why is she Princess Kelly?
She
Princess
married the
Grace of
Prince
Monaco.
of Monaco.
Well, he's not our royal, so I think we're wrong.
I respect all dignitaries, international or domestic. I just want that to be put out
She
there.
married like
I
a
respect none of them.
Prince of Monaco.
How did you not know that?
That what
It's
we
probably one of the most
guy.
famous events of the 20th century, Grace Kelly's
Well, the
wedding.
Daft Albert guy. Anyway, sort of fat guy.
That's her son.
No, yeah, his father.
Grace Kelly, a Roman Catholic, come to think of it.
Oh, did you see
Grace?
where Hitchcock was in the film?
There we go.
And we've come full circle.
We come full circle.
Did you see Hitchcock's
Got Hitchens on the brain.
yeah, that was really no,
Go on, you got it.
Second time
You
he's
got
done that in 33 minutes.
Hitchcock wee cameo. Did you see him?
Yeah, he's the
He was
father
in
of
in
the pianist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pianist.
Yeah.
I thought that was really fun as well. That there was no score to the film. It was just the music in the film was just played when the pianist was either practicing
Well, that's
or.
the immersive element probably
Yeah.
for the audience.
And you know
That's cool.
the set is the biggest set ever made in Paramount Pictures. It's completely.
Well, I
It
wasn't.
was
It's
inside the
very,
studio.
yeah, it's very clever. It's very clever. I like the whole set and the idea it's all set in one place, and it felt very. I don't know. It felt very aesthetically cool. Just
It
having
was
all,
really cool.
having all these people who don't own curtains walking about.
Yeah.
I'd be staring at my window all the time.
It kind of seemed like it was set like a play.
Yeah.
I thought
Like
that. I
a
thought this would make a
theatre.
really good play.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't been turned into a play.
No,
Probably
you couldn't
has.
do it because you'd how would they work?
You just
that?
have spotlights. You'd have a massive.
Nah.
It'd have to be massive, but you just have like spotlights on whatever
It's
going
like
on.
a play, but it wouldn't work because you'd have to have one stage at the front, which would be to have the same effect. You'd have to have the stage at the front, which would be the apartment of Jimmy Stewart, and then you'd have to have the window. You couldn't possibly have it where you're not looking through the window all the time, because the perspective of the audience throughout the film is Jimmy Stewart's window, and obviously Jimmy Stewart himself by
His rear
extension.
window.
I was thinking you could just cut it to Jimmy Stewart's apartment and then cut it to
No,
like
'cause
a
you're-
general view of the apartments outside, and then spotlights onto whichever apartment we're supposed to be
No,
focusing
because
on.
then you definitely cut, like your perspective cuts there from Jimmy Stewart to them. Like whenever the woman who's going to kill herself, who's one of the tenants,
Mrs. Oh, what's his name for her again?
Mrs.
Lonely Heart,
Lonely Hearts.
something like that. She's like going to top herself. Obviously, you're not thinking from her perspective because her killing herself is basically unimportant to the plot because it comes back to because they're trying to get in the guys. At the point where she's trying to kill herself, they're trying to get into the flat of the killer, the actual killer, and she's trying to kill herself.
Yeah, and he's
at that point.
distracted by it. Yeah.
If you actually cut to her, you're thinking she's important and she's unimportant. So
I
I don't
like
think it
the-
would
You
work.
could have it both going on at the same time.
I don't think it would work as well.
I liked the montage at the end which showed how everyone ended up, but I really liked how Miss Torso, the idea was just that she has a wee fat ugly
Wee fat-
boyfriend.
Well,
boyfriend.
that it works as well because Grace Kelly said she
She-
compared it Miss Torso's apartment to her apartment, and she said there's so much buzz going on. Or Jimmy Stewart saying, you know, this is basically your life here. There's so much buzz around you. There's all these yuppies that want stuff from you. Like you'll be fine. You'll never be lonely. And then, but Grace Kelly says, well, don't you notice that she doesn't love any of these people? I don't want to live like that. She'll have someone in her life maybe that she loves. And I was thinking, why didn't they do anything on that? Why didn't they make her apartment essentially Grace Kelly's apartment? Like whenever she leaves. But then at the end, obviously, there's some wee fat bald guy that was in the military comes home and she's like, oh my god, you're home. let me get
Yeah.
fetch you dinner or
I
whatever.
thought that was sweet.
Yeah, wee fat guy that asked for a bit of food from the cooler or
Yeah.
whatever. I did enjoy it. I thought it was very good. I've seen Olive Hitchcock. I think it's probably best I've
You
seen.
just said you haven't seen Vertigo?
I haven't seen Vertigo, but I've seen other ones. I've seen Psycho. I think I've seen North by Northwest. I've seen Rope, probably, I think. And I think that's probably the best I've seen.
It was very good. Tom, what is your review of the 1998 movie? And please make it as long as ours.
So, now for the real review. Yeah.
Now the build-up's happened.
Yeah, now the prelude's happened, we're going to get into the meat of it. I think it was pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
Tom, we saw 10 minutes of it.
It was absolutely
don't lie.
Yeah, okay. It wasn't the greatest film ever, but I think the way, I don't know behind the scenes, like how the set was done or anything. I think
no, that wasn't a set. I don't think.
No, it looked real to me.
Yeah,
it's a TV movie. It's very cheap, I think.
Christopher Reeves got a Golden Globe for best TV.
No, he got nominated.
He won a SAG Screen Actors Guild Award
that was
for Best Actor. He was nominated
best
for a
actor in a
Golden
TV
Globe.
film, was it?
TV miniseries.
Yeah, well, I think this film sort of takes the concepts of the first one and sort of in 90s fashion.
It makes them much, much better.
In 90s fashion, sort of amplifies them, not making them better, but amplifying it. So, thinking about there was no suicidal woman in this one. There was no suicide, but there was a woman stripping down.
Yeah, the audience is suicidal enough.
Was there an actual?
There was also a wee hacker guy.
Was it real?
Of course, there's a hacker guy.
There's
In
a
any of these,
hacker,
I was actually going to ask, did at some point someone
Yeah.
hack into a mainframe?
And at some
In
point,
any of these
on
90s
his screen
films?
it says hack, yes or no, and he clicks enter and he just starts hacking all this code.
And then some
appears.
guy with glasses takes his glasses off and goes, "How did he do it? He's the best."
We need to go into the data frame.
Tom, is there an actual woman that strips off?
Yeah.
Because obviously
Not like to the nude, but like
that's like
it
sort of-
happens multiple times.
It's suggested in the Alfred Hitchcock one that that's what's happening because the woman who's a nurse keeps making fun of Jimmy Stewart for being a peeping Tom, basically.
They do recognise that in this film. Yeah, they're like, "Are you a fucking beating Tom then?"
It
Like,
counts
all this
as
stuff.
peeping if the woman is in lingerie. She doesn't
Yeah.
need to be nude for it to count as peeping.
Well, she's got a window. Isn't it true that you're not breaking the law? I heard this from some film or something, by the way.
I'm sure he does. Yeah.
not a crackpot, right? But
The film that they
Debatable.
They sat you down after the court case and made you watch.
In a room with other men.
I think that's it. Do you know what it was? You know what I was watching? I was watching Law and Order Special Victims Unit, right? Because my mom likes that. She watches it every night. It's fucking, I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, but it's like, apparently if the blinds are open, you're taking photos and that's no bad. You're allowed to do that.
Sorry, you can't take photos of people in their own house.
That's not alright.
No,
I don't care about the law. Morally, that's not
No,
right.
I'm not saying it's moral, but
I think it's illegal.
Do you know what
I
this
hope
whole
it is.
thing reminded me of, by the way, Aidan? Do you remember when we lived in our old flat, and the way that our window set up in our living room worked was that we looked directly onto the opposing neighbour's
Yeah.
living room window as well. And there was this guy that I assumed that his TV must have been near the window, but I swear to God, it just looked like he was sitting in a couch staring directly at his window into our window. It just looked like he was always topless, and he was just staring directly into me and
Yeah,
Aidan's
the
living
naked
room
man,
window.
he was always
Yeah.
topless.
And then
Legend.
and then as it went on, he got a canvas. And remember he was painting the canvas, and we were like, what if he turns around at some point and he's just painted me and you sitting in the living room?
You sit looking at him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, he's probably sitting on his couch staring at his TV like, why are these cunts staring at me for hours on end? I'm just trying to watch my TV.
We're both phoning the police like, I think I have a peeping Tom, this guy's definitely staring at me.
A peeping Tom, yeah.
Was the guy in employment, do you reckon?
Oh, absolutely no way, because he'd be doing that. I mean, we were barely
We
employed.
weren't employed at that point.
But
We were just sitting watching Homes Under Hammer at 2 p.m. and so was this guy in his pants.
I know, we're sitting staring at him like, get a job.
Get a job, mate.
Get a job, lazy bastard.
He was like 40, to be fair. I mean, we were just...
No, I think, yeah, he was about mid-40s.
Were you students or was it like COVID time?
We were students.
We were students, yeah. But I was fucking stage.
Yeah.
And also, do you know what else it reminded me of, speaking of Callum? Me and Callum, where we live, there's a guy that lives upstairs. Basically, the guy is he makes a lot of noise, and I think he's possibly abusive to his girlfriend that lives
Oh, my
upstairs.
God, no, what do you mean?
So
possibly?
obviously
Well,
you guys
he's
so
definitely.
you guys have obviously stepped in.
No, not necessarily. That was my place to go.
Tom, we heard it one time, right? And then we go.
I did that.
So you heard it and you rushed upstairs to save this.
I did message Carl
He's woman.
saying, "Do you reckon we should?" And then Carl went, "Nah."
Well,
we didn't.
They did think about stepping in, which is basically
Yeah.
the same as actually
Well,
stepping in.
I think this person, right? I think if we went with a guy would fucking beat fucking
Well,
both of
the
us.
point I was going to make, it doesn't really matter whether we should have stepped in or not.
Doesn't matter if
The-
there's abuse going on.
No. Well, the point I was going to make is, this guy is so horrifically fat. He's like fucking butterbean. So if me and Cam did actually step in, no doubt he'd knock us both out.
Well, if we dodged the first punch, we're
As long
alright.
as we jump about, you keep the distance, maybe throw a few jabs. But
Throw a few jabs.
every single time I step out of the door, I can hear this guy coming down the stairs because he literally comes down the stairs like, fucking hell, like coming down behind you. And so when I was like leaving the house today to come film this, before I opened the door, I could hear him coming up the stairs. So I was like, I'm just gonna wait. I might be a few minutes late, but I'm not gonna pass this guy in the stairs, like, because he was going, fucking these stairs again. So I waited like 5 minutes, and I was like, surely this cunt has managed to climb one set of stairs by now. And I opened the door, and it was face to face with him. He was like holding the handlebar of the stairs, not handlebar, holding the railing of the stairs. Like trying to catch his breath after walking up what is 15 steps.
Yeah, I've been in your flat. That's maybe 10 steps.
It's one floor.
Down.
It's one floor.
And then I opened the door, and he was like, and he got scared because I opened my door, and I was like, oh sorry mate, and he went, these fucking stairs again. It's like, Jesus, like I could be Jimmy Stewart living right these fucking nut jobs.
Oh, I remember one time we were in the flat myself, and I don't know what Ian was up to.
Did you say we were in the flat myself?
I was in the flat myself.
Me and the voices.
And I don't know what. I think I was watching some fucking shite, no doubt some shite film on Channel 52 or whatever, right? And I heard like heavy breathing outside. I'm like, fuck it, what's going on? And I thought it was like two guys shagging on the fucking land or something, right? But it would have just been this big fat bastard walking up the stairs going, oh.
You're really dissing this guy. If he listens to the Mungos podcast, which I'm sure he does,
You're
then
done,
you
mate.
guys
You
are
guys are
in
gonna
big
be-
trouble.
Well, we'll hear him coming and we can escape. Because he'll be coming down one
Just
flight
get a
of
big
stairs.
stick, okay?
Oh, honestly.
Exhaust him.
We need to get like what we need to get. You know those flipping.
I grip.
No, you know those fucking AI bots that like watch podcasts. That's how we get famous. We like get them to watch it a few times, right?
So what you're saying is we bought.
Aye,
That's
correct.
what
Very
you're.
expensive.
Is it?
So if you get an AI bot to watch, because if you want to actually get traction, you need to have them watch a lot of the podcast.
Yeah.
So you
Oh yeah,
have
because
to,
you need watch time, don't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
so
When do we start making money? That's what I want to know.
No, no,
next step.
when
Yeah.
we get the Patreon up and we have you on an OnlyFans, mate, that's when we
If
get.
you get Twitter, me on OnlyFans, why me?
don't know, Butch, like one of these.
Ouch.
Do you know what I mean? Like for the gays.
What kind of gay class am I?
You should add the
We're
context to
talking
this.
the OnlyFans was setting up for you, and so what we're putting in
The
bio.
context of that is that last night we all went to a gay nightclub because it was one of our friends' birthdays, and I was talking to a gay man who's a friend of mine.
Surprisingly.
What?
Really
Gay man,
emphasis on the word gay here.
A gay man.
Well, it's context.
Mm.
It's part of the context. He's a friend of mine, and he's also a friend of the pod.
Yes,
Very
he is.
nice lad. And I asked him, what type of gay man would I be? What do I fit into any of the categories?
He doesn't fucking know this exists, surely.
And thank
It's
God for that.
podcast.
Yeah. He's not a friend of the podcast.
Friend of the pod just means he's a friend of
Yeah,
the
it's
people
just
who
people
do the
on the pod.
podcast.
So the people who've got friends of the pod are this gentleman and John Fury.
And Morrissey, I believe.
and
Morrissey.
Morrissey, Stephen Morrissey.
Same class, mate. Same class.
He said last night, he thought about it for a few seconds and he said I'd maybe be an otter, which is apparently basically a hairy, more flabby twink which I was not.
Flabby.
I fucking said that. No.
Yeah, I don't think he said more flabby, surely.
Well, he didn't.
They're a bit rude.
He said. He said an otter maybe, and I said, "What's an otter?" Because I hadn't heard of it, and then he described it. And
I
to
thought it was
me-
just a hairy twink and otter.
Well, I'm definitely not. I mean, I don't want to give the listeners the impression that I'm fat, but I'm not a twink.
Should we
What about
describe you in
twonk?
some way, Aidan?
No, I would rather you don't describe my physical appearance to listeners.
Well,
thanks.
I was saying last night you were wearing a leather jacket. Could have been a leather daddy. You
Yeah.
just had to,
So
if
what's
you
what's a
shave-
leather daddy though?
It's a daddy with leather, I'd
Daddy was
imagine.
leather. If you shave like a sort of what do you call this?
A handlebar.
Handlebar moustache.
Be
Yeah.
a village person.
Well, I said to him that I'd maybe be a cub.
What's a cub?
A cub is a smaller bear.
Right. Okay.
I think that's more fitting.
Aidan
So
has,
the
Aidan
bear.
has
So
a beard.
is right. Let me figure this one out. Bear, right? What defines a bear and what defines a cub? then?
Large hairy
Is
man
it
is a
age
bear.
or is it size?
No, a large hairy man is a bear. A cub would be a sort of smaller hairy.
Yeah, I'm basically
Right,
not
okay.
fat
But I
enough
thought an otter
to
was
be
a small
bear.
hairy man.
A otter is a hairy twink.
Yeah.
That's like.
So what?
If the listeners want to know, I'm 6 feet and half an inch. I'm a bald man.
What's that half an inch?
I have brown eyes. I have a full beard, and I'm about 12 and a half stone.
And he's looking for love.
Like gay classification mystifies me because it is just like it's such a masculine
Oh,
thing
no,
to
it
do.
is, yeah.
It is such a masculine thing.
Men love making
Categorising.
categories and
Yeah.
lists.
Yes,
We love
yeah.
it. Yeah, we
It's
do.
just such a massive thing to do because it's like, oh yeah, that's why I said what's your class because it is just like it's a video game thing, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, women also kind of had those things. I don't know if it's
It's
originated
definitely
from women or
surely.
heterosexual men, but we have the archetype of the Audrey Hepburn, the bookish librarian, the Marilyn Monroe.
Is that not almost given to women by men?
Yeah, I was going to say that's a very masculine thing put on.
But I
them,
was saying
that's
I
not-
don't know, but no. I think women originated
No,
that.
I think that's something.
I'm going to be
If you read women's,
Because-
if you read women's magazines, they talk about archetypes of which type of woman are you much more than men ever do. Although we do because we understand the female mindset, being the Mungos podcast.
Of course, yeah, we're very in tune with the female side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of it's different though because obviously
Men don't. The two categories of women that exist for men are women I sleep with and women I wouldn't.
no, but
Alive ones
no,
and
that,
dead ones.
that is, but Playboy magazine would have like categories of women that they would talk about.
Mm-hmm.
They would definitely have, and they would name them and put them in exhaustive lists.
No, they wouldn't.
Definitely.
Oh,
No,
they
they
do
wouldn't.
it. I mean, look at the pornography industry. Look at the amount of
Well,
categories
the
there are.
industry designed for men.
Yeah,
That's what we're talking
Yeah, that's
about.
what I'm saying.
It's
It's
not-
designed
sorry,
by men
you
for
think,
men.
You honestly think heterosexual men have a more formalistic, more
No, they
developed system of categorising women based on archetypes than women themselves do?
For women.
Women as women.
No, but women for women or women
Women for-
categorising men.
I
The
don't-
cat-
do
the
they-
cat-
I
the cat-
think
the
he's
cat- I think what
complicated
Callum
it
is
now.
saying, the categories would be different. For men, it'd be far more to do with the physicality of said woman.
Yeah,
Mm,
men
definitely,
aren't interested.
Yeah. Whereas for a woman, it would be something like, is she bookish? Is she,
Is she
a
a girl
girl in the
boss?
big city? or
Girl
whatever?
boss. Is she a?
Is she
Is
more of a
she-
Sam? Is she more of a, it'd be like more like the sex in the city?
Whereas men don't do that. Men just think of women as the individuals that they are. They
Yeah.
don't categorise them. And if they do categorise them, it's women I sleep with, women I wouldn't. Basically, I mean, we don't sit around talking about.
We have
Oh, I'd
types.
love
Men have types.
I mean, look online. What would
Wow.
you think the big what's it called? The big titty goth GF is now. What, is that not
That's a
categorisation?
category, to be fair.
That is. Is that not? Is that not
And
what
just
that
like
is?
any other category that might originate from men, it's incredibly dumb and
Yeah.
lustful.
Yes. Definitely. That's what I mean. It's like.
I've never understood that anyway. People talk about, oh, my type. It's like, I don't understand how you can have an archetype of woman you fall in love with. If love is truly irrational and spontaneous, it could surely happen to you from anyone. It's not like,
I
I
think
would,
it's more,
I would
it's more
love you if you were
pointing-
3 inches taller. That's not love.
3 inches tall. It's more pointing to, I think, who are you more commonly attracted to?
Yeah, it's more
necessarily
like
who are you
taste.
more likely to love.
It's not taste.
Well, I think there's very, very broad stroke categories of trends that people would be attracted to, especially men. Like if you're, I mean, to be honest, it's probably more based on social class. There's less inter-class relationships. Like men who talk about my type, it's like they're almost always describing women who are in the same social class as them. That is the broad stroke type that they might have. But when it comes to brunettes versus blondes, that's all nonsense, really.
I think you can definitely have more of an inclination for one hair colour or the other. Obviously, it doesn't mean that you're going to exclusively sleep with brunettes or blondes, but I think you could say I am more likely to find a brunette attractive than I am a blonde.
I think into all the muscles and that, they kind of weigh themselves a lot.
Well, that's just another form of body dysmorphia, these people. Like the people that just want to be freakishly big.
It's also very feminine, like being obsessed with your body, if you're a man. I mean, bodybuilders are not.
Is this going to go into guppy territory?
Bodybuilders are not as attractive to women as they are to men.
Definitely.
It's a stereotype.
Well, I was having an argument about this with Callum actually, because Callum asked me one of his many questions, why or what celebrity, if you found out a woman said that she had a particular attraction to said celebrity, would you find strange? And I said The Rock. Because like an 18-year-old girl going like, oh, The Rock is so fit, it's fucking strange.
You ever seen a Jason Statham's fan cam?
Jason Statham was fine. Jason Statham's not like a massive, huge, basically just one bulge.
But Henry Cavill, who is, I think, well, I don't know.
Henry Cavill's not a body. Henry Cavill's like a rugby guy. He's a naturally big guy. He's naturally big. Whereas The Rock is just like,
I don't think he's naturally
even his
big,
head
but
looks
he looks
like a
more
bicep.
natural.
Even his head
The Rock
looks
is sort of like literally he is like looks like a rock. He looks like a boulder. He doesn't really look like a.
That's why they call him The Rock.
Whoa.
But
that's the thing. Even when he came up with the name of the WWE, the whole Rock thing, he still looked like a person. Now he looks like some kind of golem, some kind of sort of construction, some flesh golem that they brought out. You know what I mean?
It looks like various tumours.
Has he ever been in a good film?
Yeah,
He's been in like all the 7 different films in which was set in the jungle. They were all good.
Fast and Furious, bro. Obviously.
Every one of them, he does that mad fucking tip thing he does, where he like flexes his biceps, like various. Like,
as if women are watching that like, oh, amazing. It's literally just other guys watching that like, oh, it's cool, fuck man. 14-year-olds.
Another thought I had on The Rock was I've made a list ages ago of like people that I don't think are real. People that I don't believe exist. And one of them is anyone that follows The Rock on Instagram. You're an NPC.
There is no internal
no thoughts,
conversation going on there.
Let me see if I've got the whole list.
You know, believe it or not, this actually comes into something I was going to bring today about the dead internet theory.
Oh, that I like
and
that.
how it's resurfaced big time recently. Very recently.
Well, I'll very quickly run through.
Yeah, let you talk
things.
about
Do you have many news items, Tom? You got loads of news items.
Two news items. Okay, so there's only 3 people. It was a very short list. So anyone that follows The Rock on Instagram, I think that's obvious.
Fair.
People that sit in at Greg's, no chance they're real. They are background characters for sure.
I've done that again, mate.
I've done it once in Liverpool.
So I'm sharing a podcast with a fake organism.
Me and Tom have both done that.
I've done it once in Liverpool. I've never done it.
Didn't you feel odd?
Yeah.
Didn't you feel strange?
No, here's the thing. See, as soon as we sat down, right? Basically what happened was 2 things. One, a guy just shoplifted. He just came in. He just literally came in. You know how Greg's has like this wee island in the middle of it?
Did you notice that no one around you reacted at all? They started like...
Yeah, that wasn't scripted, they didn't know how to act.
They were like putting their spoon into an empty carton and putting it up to their face.
There was no one else
You
there.
answered the phone like, I got that meeting at 10:30, I gotta make.
There was no one else there. Nobody else was sitting down. We were the only 2 people sitting down, right? And basically what happened is, as soon as we sat down, we started eating, and this guy came in and just took, I think it was like just a bag of sausage rolls, bag of donuts, just took them, and the staff were just like, can you not? And then he just went, no, and he like left.
Can you not? No.
I must. I know someone else.
Callum, who's the other person you know who stole from my Greg's?
I think it might be Aidan.
Don't. Okay, I thought you were going to say his full name, because you always say people's full names, so...
You mean that when I was 14...
You nicked from my Greg's?
No, when I was 14 I bought a £3.50 breakfast wrap from Greg's on my break from high school, and the woman handed me it and went, thank you, and then turned around and walked away, and I thought, well, if you know, if a deer shoots itself and then ties itself to your car, you kind of have to drive it home.
Maybe she's a fan. She likes what you do.
She
just
knew-
say thank you for all that you do. Here's a free sandwich.
She's a time travelling Mungos super fan.
Yeah, she preemptively knew how much I would give to the world via the Mungos.
She knows now that you'll remember her for the rest of your life.
I have
and be guilty.
immortalised that otherwise pathetic and non-existent woman's life by even uttering her existence on a podcast that will be listened to by millions.
Yeah. At least 10. At least 10.
10 people.
At least tens of millions.
We know 2 people are going to watch this.
True. Well, I did check.
I think you're really
Like
being
97
arrogant
views.
and banky on my mother. I don't even know if she'll listen to
My
this.
mom's not going to watch this.
Although
To be fair-
my mother's husband listened to it and
Yeah.
apparently found us hilarious.
Oh, good.
But now I'm a bit worried because my mother mentioned in passing that he used to do bodybuilding and we just called them all gay.
I didn't call them gay. I said they had body dysmorphia and they looked like sort of
Oh, he didn't call them gay?
I didn't
Oh,
say
good.
anything about that. I just said stuff at the raw.
What we meant by that, obviously, what I'd say is like guys.
Famous non-gay bodybuilders, Yukio Mishima.
He was a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Oh.
Didn't you say that guy was gay? You think he's
That
a
was the
homosexual?
that was the joke.
Yeah, that was a joke, yeah.
Or is he
What
well
about
known?
Sebum? He ain't gay.
Who's Sebum?
Didn't he die?
No, you're thinking of the French guy. That was
Joe
that was-
Statics?
Yeah, he there was this like bodybuilder that just looked like one walking steroid. It just looked awful, just veins coming out of every single limb they had. And he used to do this trick where he would make his chest muscles ripple.
Oh yeah.
He'd
That
ripple.
sounds healthy.
Yeah, and he'd obviously just died
His heart
from
gave out, I think,
steroid
yeah.
abuse. It was pretty sad.
Is flipping Liver King still going?
No.
Oh, he was in a bad way. Remember he had like one eye at
Yeah.
one point? He was like, "Hey guys, Liver King here."
Is he dead?
No.
No, he's dead soon though.
Trust me, you would know if Liver King was dead, bro.
I don't know. If
There's
he's
BBC
making
News
the next
breaking
decade.
report.
Oh.
I quite like him because I like people who are just so absurd.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
Big
love
Time
him so-
Tommy, Liver King. It's
Yeah.
like, I just appreciate that there are these freaks in the world who can
Oh,
all just.
the-
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that he sticks to it. Like he will never be wrong in his eyes. Like
Oh.
he's definitely like he's so unwell right now. It's unbelievable. And he's like, no, I need to continue eating raw bull's testicles. Right? Yeah, that's what's gonna get me through.
Hey, Primals! I'm in the hospital right now.
Like even though he's completely like it looks like he's gonna die pretty soon. He's like, well, no, I'm just need to raw meat my way through this, and then I'll eat to the other side.
He is mental. He's not going to make it to the end of the decade. I don't think he
No.
is.
He ain't seeing 2030, no chance.
No.
Nice.
And I don't think Liver Queen or Liver Boy will end up
Liver
seeing
Boy.
2030 either.
Like they're a superhero
Does he
family.
have a couple children? Or is it just one?
Yeah, liver princess maybe, liver girl.
Liver Girl, Liver Boy and Liver Girl, or Lava Boy and Aqua Girl. Or
No,
whatever.
I think Princess.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl. You
Sorry.
We're bringing back the Fury family, but I think Princess is a much more Fury family name for a.
It is
for a
very,
chef.
it's very English sort of.
No, that's not.
Working
Sorry, the
class.
kid's name isn't actually Liver Boy. His legal name is not Liver Boy. You just
Liver
call
Boy,
Liver
come
on
on.
the internet.
But I don't think John Fury would say, not John Fury, sorry, I don't think Liver King would say, oh my princess, that's a heavy, like,
No, it's Liver Queen.
Liver Queen, but he wouldn't say Liver Princess, I don't
But
know.
that would make sense if his wife's Liver Queen.
I've noticed a resurgence in dead internet theory. If you guys know anything about that.
I don't.
No, you're gonna have to inform me.
So, dead internet theory is the commonly, more commonly now, over the last few weeks actually, I've seen tons about it. The theory that basically a lot of the internet activity that we see is actually not human, which was actually brought up when Elon was buying Twitter about the bots,
Yeah.
because he's a big proponent of the dead internet theory. He has been for a
Yeah,
while.
I know he's very. He mentioned that as one of the reasons he bought Twitter is one of the things he wants to enact
Yeah.
as the new Twitter proprietor is to decrease the amount of bots.
Well, like everything he does, he's not fucking done that, has he? You know what I mean? It's like a million flipping porn bots in every comment now.
Maybe your
I have
comments.
to follow every single one of them. It's annoying.
No, I got followed by some random porn bot. Like, it responded to me from months ago. I said something, made a joke about fucking cabbages or something, and some porn bot
I
responded.
literally know the tweet you're talking about because you only tweeted 3 times.
Yeah.
It was, what's the German K word? And you said,
No. Some guy went.
C-word, surely.
some guy went something along the lines of only Germans are allowed to say the word kraut, and I said aye, and cabbages are not, right? Which isn't that funny, right? But some
Well, I think that's probably one of the most funny things anyone's ever said.
Don't be a sound down, mate.
right, but some flipping porn bot responded to that like.
What did they say? My link in bio.
No, it was like I don't know. It was like
Kill yourself.
it was
Wow,
more,
great
Even
point,
the porn
Callum.
bots don't like
They
it.
don't like it, they're not fans.
It was more of like a sentence than that. It wasn't like
Wow, this is such a great point.
something like that.
Check out my
right?
OnlyFans in my bio.
It's yeah. Well, no, she didn't even say. Well, she right. This porn bot didn't.
This
even,
abomination,
well, presumably it's a woman running it.
abominable intelligence. No, it's probably a.
No, it'll be a
It'll be-
man.
Yeah,
who'll
it probably won't even be a man.
send
It'll
out
be like,
bots to
yeah, it'll be
do
like a.
stuff
It'll
like
be like a
response to
script,
comments,
and
and
it'll
then
be like
every time you click on a link, it'll either give you a virus or something, or
yeah.
Right.
or it will encourage you to pay for this woman's OnlyFans, which is a scam or something like that. I
Yeah.
imagine.
Right. Anyway, well, obviously I didn't cook or anything, but it's just she didn't the bot didn't say like follow my Instagram. Just went, oh, this is so funny or shit like that. I can't mind. But
Maybe,
Ha, ha,
maybe
ha,
the
this
bot
is
just
so
trying to
funny.
spread love.
well, maybe
Positivity.
it wasn't a bot. Maybe it was just a.
Maybe it's the love of your life. Maybe
Yeah.
you should go back and DM her right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically it's had a massive resurgence as of late because of the whole. I don't know why it's not come up earlier actually, but this whole AI craze that's happening right now is somehow shot into the news the past few weeks, and everyone's now talking about dead internet theory again. Just because I think it's just because of the massive amounts of AI content that's now
Yeah.
on Twitter, and because it's such a buzzword at the moment.
The thing that annoys me about AI is that personally I think AI should just be banned immediately and completely. And what annoys me about the other people who are in my camp
You
who are
think-
against the
Like
AI,
totally.
absolutely, totally,
Right,
it should be
okay.
totally outlawed. I think if you use AI, you should just be shot on the spot, summary execution.
Mate,
But the thing that gets me is- Yeah, we're AI, right? Aren't we?
do we? Oh, I don't know.
I
It's
feel
it's
like I'm AI.
no, it's like flipping Blade Runner. We don't know for the AI.
Yeah. No, what was I going to say? But the people who should be in my camp who are also anti-AI, they always say the same thing whenever there's some advancement in AI, and it does seem to be advancing very
Oh, it's
quickly,
rapidly.
is that they'll release a picture or a video from a prompt, and then they'll say, look at this great thing we did with AI, and then all the anti-AI people say, oh, it's so rubbish, like you can tell this is AI will never be good. And it's like, no, the point is what happens when it actually does get so good you can't tell the difference. Or they go, oh, it's so rubbish, like it will never replace real art. It's like, no, what's going to happen when it actually does replace real art? Do you know what I mean? That's what's scary. That is the real problem with AI, is that eventually it probably will get so good that we won't need film directors and we won't need any artists.
Yeah.
That is the real problem. That's why it should be allowed. Not
Possibly, yeah.
if it was the case that it'll always be ersatz and it'll be rubbish, then there'd be nothing to worry about. But the real
I
problem
mean,
is
that's already good.
Decently.
it's very
It's-
functional, but it doesn't
Yeah.
have. It doesn't seem to be able to convey
Well,
meaning.
the thing is, it only spits out what you put into it. You know what I mean?
And it's
only
so
got-
it's not creative.
there's
It
not-
literally
yeah.
just rips off other extant human creations,
But
which
then
is one
again,
of the
what
which
do
is the
humans
legal
do?
reason it should be used to.
You know.
Well,
What do humans do?
every human individual probably has something that they
Nothing is fully
bring to the
original.
world.
Yeah, well, I think the sort of creative process is definitely about combining things that you already know. Do you know what I mean?
But it's also about putting a spin on it.
yeah, yeah.
Otherwise,
Well, it's
that's
exactly
different
the
thing,
same
yeah,
reason
though,
why the
isn't it?
larger the bank of information you give AI, the better the results are going to be.
Yeah, definitely.
but it's still just ripping off what humans have
Oh,
already
yeah, it's
done.
definitely.
I mean, you see what the AI art is. It literally takes pieces of those pictures
Yeah.
and puts them together.
And a lot of the real scumbags, when they're making the AI art or whatever, they'll say, make a bunny rabbit, for example, in the style of, and then like
Yes,
an artist,
yeah.
and that is just really,
But it's
Extra
bad faith,
scummy.
isn't it? Yeah, it's bad
because
faith.
it's like you're actually purposely ripping off this specific artist that it does actually require money to live.
Yeah,
I don't,
yeah.
it obviously can't be allowed, and I think this is one of these things that's not going to be. Well, maybe it'd be like, well, I don't know. Basically, obviously, if you take a load of art and you put it into a big thing, and then you say do something like this, you're using the art. It's not allowed. That's like in law, you can't be doing that. But it's not been tested. It's like It's like YouTube copyright and stuff, and they just won't bother to test it because nobody's going to sue anyone. It'll just stay like this for, I imagine, a long time. Till like Disney or someone does it. So
that's the romantic kind of reactionary aristocratic hill or lost cause that I'll die for. My grandkids will be like, use the AI app that orders food for you, and I'm like, no, I'm going to seppuku myself on the doorstep.
That'll be the Peter Hitchens like requesting that someone goes on a till so that you can put your meal deal through, because you'll never use a self-scan machine ever.
Yeah, no, it's too right. Honestly, I'm not happy. Like, I would honestly.
So you don't think AI can be used, has any application?
I don't care. Even if it does save people's lives, human culture is more important than some measly breath.
Yeah, I work in the software industry, and my boss is like just uber enthusiastic about AI and it's everything that you can do with it. And he's from Singapore, and every time he goes back to Singapore, apparently AI is really prevalent there, and it's basically everywhere. And he's like, "Oh, isn't it fantastic that you don't have to make any decisions when you go there? It's just everything it happens for you." Basically, it's like, no, I think I'd rather just live my life. Like he posted into one of our group, like the work group chat, like it was a screenshot of Elon Musk saying the first human received an implant from Neuralink yesterday, and it's recovering well. And then he posted that as if like, "Oh, fantastic!"
Yeah,
it's like, no, terrifying.
Yeah.
The thing is, on one hand, I'm like, AI could be a very powerful tool and could advance, advance humanity. But on the other hand, I was at this research centre not too long ago, and I seen the Boston Dynamics dog, and there was a part of my brain, deep within my monkey subconscious, going, smash the thing, smash the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing where there's a picture of all these tribesmen in the Amazon, and then somebody flew a drone over them.
Yeah, and they try to speed it down.
They all throw spears at the drone, and then somebody said, that is the normal human reaction to seeing a drone. What we do, which is like, oh, look at the cute drone, let's pet it and have it fetch us drinks. That's perverse. The normal human red-blooded reaction to seeing a robot should be hit it with a spear, immediately kill it.
This thing is going to carpet bomb me for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a genuine sort of like underlying, like, I need to hit this thing. I want to punt this thing.
I'm glad that you have that. I'm glad you have that.
It was like a sort of
That's how I feel when I see Callum.
Because actually...
well, that's a natural human reaction.
Nothing, Callum, doesn't matter.
The thing is, right? The thing is,
say what then?
it's very interesting how all this AI stuff designed actually, because I was reading about how they do the design of self-driving cars. What a hellish world that's going to be, but you actually notice the patterns, and what they'll do is they'll try and make all this AI stuff really super friendly. All the self-driving cars and like sort of helping you drive and all this kind of stuff. All that's very based off, like, it's very rounded shapes, it's very friendly, sort of, it's based off, like, panda faces and stuff, right? But when you look at, like, human-driven cars, what car manufacturers focus on is the aggression. Look at a like Lamborghini, for example, right? The shapes and lines are very aggressive, and that's because humans, it's like we're put in control. We want that aggression.
What can we do with this car?
This is like we give you power. But then when you have the self-driving cars, they're very rounded, they're very cutesy, they're very panda-like.
Because they're giving us power?
No, because they're taking power away. We don't have any
autonomy. You want to feel safe. You want to, like, this thing is not going to make any extreme decisions or whatever.
Exactly. They want to make this shit as friendly as possible. I don't know, that I feel like if you're already trying to do it, if you need to try and like make it that way to subconsciously convince people, I don't know if I want that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with, I mean, you obviously work in computing, as you said, but I don't have a problem with computing or technology being used to aid human activity. But when computers themselves are deciding or influencing human activity, rather than just aiding us in doing what we would naturally want to do, then it becomes a problem. And especially when it's all computers are just actually originating, quote unquote, the ideas themselves for things for us to do, like in AI. It's like, no, I don't want that. I don't think that's going to help us at all.
No, well, self-driving cars only work if every car is a self-driving car as well.
Yeah.
They are quite poor to respond to like erratic human behaviour, which, you know, we tend to be.
it's so rational it can't factor in the irrationality that
Yeah.
is essential to human nature.
No, it's very true.
And also you have the next step of them having to make moral decisions, like if I can, I'm going to crash, but if I turn left I can kill a baby in a pram.
How often
or if I
does that
turn right-
happen though? That's so rare. Like, I've never had to drive and think, right, okay, I'm gonna have
Like,
to
which one of
either.
these people am I going to annihilate? Like,
I've never come across that personally.
Yeah, but the point
Okay,
is,
I either have to kill a baby or I have to kill a dog. Like, what am I gonna do
but
here?
the point is, you'd never have to do that because you can. But this wee thing's thinking like every nanosecond, it's thinking hundreds of thoughts or whatever, and then it's like it's deciding.
I'd rather
everything
just be
does.
thinking about how to get me to the train station than constantly thinking
No,
about
but it's not.
evaluating the
No,
one,
but it's-
the value of human life.
You know, like some junkies run up the road, right, and then there's a pram. So they're like, you are just going either hitting the junkie.
No, I'm
Crashing.
I'm hitting neither. Ideally,
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
I was
trying.
gonna
No,
say, yes, you're just wanting to hit
your
junkies.
reaction was like, oh shit, and then you just turn the wheel, whatever, because like, I need to
Stop,
stop,
turn the
I'm going
wheel,
to turn, try
anything,
and turn
yeah.
and crash into something else. Whereas this thing be like, right, because if I make a 0.5 degree turn here, I can kill the junkie, but if I make a 0.2 degree here, I can kill the baby in the pram or whatever.
It's just.
I'd kill the baby because that junkie has probably paid more national insurance in his life.
And can make
Well,
another baby, potentially.
Exactly.
So,
Debatable. But yeah,
He's supporting the local economy,
does he pay tax?
legal or illegal.
yeah, that guy's not saving anything money. That's
Yeah.
anting,
He is
spending
like-
all
he's
the money
the-
comes in.
No, he's the most Keynesian guy out there. He gets money, he spends it straight away. Aggregate demand has shifted upwards with his bloke. He's not making any investments.
What's the tax on heroin again? I forgot.
No tax, but like
Yeah, no
it's
tax. That's even more
encouraging.
Keynesian. They all go straight into the economy, straight back into the economy.
Yeah.
So was the news just a general discussion of the dead?
Well, that was the first thing. It was just thinking about, well, just because I've seen so much of it lately.
To be
Just
honest,
bring it back.
when you brought up, I was thinking of another tangential theory, which is that our era in human civilization,
The Anthropocene.
yes, that will actually be quite lost to history because all of our documentation and records are literally both of them are now on their phones.
I was turning my phone off.
Digitized.
Like, I literally looked up while talking. Both of you are looking at your
My
phones.
phone went off and I didn't want to interrupt me.
Should I start again? Are you
I was
listening?
looking at the time. I heard what you said.
Our era of human history will be lost to history because all of our records and documentation are made electronically, and it's much harder to preserve a floppy disk than it is to preserve stone tablets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's
it's true.
basically the
But the
idea.
thing is though, but you're thinking, the sheer amount of data that we have, we will always, no matter how little data of our age is preserved, we will always have more data preserved now forward than we have ever had because of the sheer amount of data that we have now.
Well, I think
That's the thing.
But it's all stored in ways that won't be physically preserved within 3,000 years. Not 3,000, for God's sake, 3 million years, because in 3 million years they won't be running the software that we run to document things.
Well, in
So
3
they
million
won't be
years,
able
we
to
will have fucking
access it.
stone tablets, mate. They'll
Well,
be
they,
gone.
well, they will, because the one thing that lasts millions of years is stone
Even-
tablets.
No, but the thing
Irish
is, like,
people stuck in bogs and paper.
even,
I mean, that didn't last 3 million years. We've not even been around for 10,000.
The
not
best
like
way
3
to be
million.
saved to history is to be an Irish person who dies in a bog. That's pretty much the only way to be preserved.
Well, you heard it here first in the Mungos podcast. That's where you need to go. Ireland to a bog.
The Mungos saw the Bogman himself.
We
and
saw
went
him
on a
live.
trip.
Near the Mungos.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, 3 of the
oh,
Mungos.
yeah.
Yes. Just myself, Aidan, and Callum.
75% of the Mungos.
Never one of them had a tit yet. That was kind of cool.
I didn't notice that.
One of them was ginger as well. You could see his ginger hair.
Really?
Well, it wasn't
Yeah.
Ireland,
That's
to be
sick.
fair.
Yeah, the
They
hair.
actually stunk. Like
They were stinking.
that's crazy that they still smell.
Yeah, and they were in a like 4-inch thick glass box,
And
and
you
they
could
were still
still-
humming.
You still smell the death.
I thought it's
Well, not really
some
death.
of them
it's
like cut in half
mummification.
and stuff. I don't know how that happens, and then you get served.
Maybe only half of them were in the bog. They were sticking out half out the bog.
I don't know.
Well, it's
Yeah, how
probably-
do you die in a bog? Like, how unlucky. But I think it's more that,
They were probably starved or
Wow.
killed or something. They just happened to be in a bog, I
yeah.
would imagine. Or maybe they were dumped there. Get them out of the
They
way.
bury them in bogs, maybe.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Maybe they just chuck them in the bog to get them out of the way.
I can't remember. They had placards that told you what had happened to them, but I was more just paying no attention. Now they stunk and had ginger hair.
And there was a little like toddler running about looking at it. I thought maybe not. Show the wee.
Yeah, I was
wee
saying
guy
this should be 18 rated.
I remember you guys said that on because I was looking at the group chat when you guys were there, and you were like, "Oh, yeah, there's a toddler running around. I don't know why there's a toddler running around. It's a bit odd."
Yeah,
We went to the Royal Museum. We were in Dublin, and I'd said, "Oh, we should go to this museum because they have lots of good, I think, like 19th century paintings or whatever." And then we just ended up looking at bog people by accident.
The bog people are pretty good.
I found it pretty.
Yeah, they were
interesting,
pretty good. To be fair, I enjoyed that.
To be fair, it sounds like I think I'd like bog people more than a couple of paintings, to be honest.
Yeah.
More interesting.
Well, those paintings will not last as long as Irish bog people.
True.
So who wins?
Well, not anymore because they're not in the bog anymore. They're in glass boxes.
No, but it's not
The
bog
cave.
chemicals.
I know.
So
That is the thing. In order to enjoy the bog people, we have to kill them.
We have to take them out
kill
of
the thing that we love.
Yeah.
well, they'll probably still
It's
last
like
quite a long
flowers, you
time.
have
So
to
it's still
cut
got the
them.
bog
But they
chemicals
would have
on
lasted longer if
They're
they
bog
remained in the bog.
chemicals.
they've been bogged.
They
mate.
got that bog in them.
They're bog pilled.
If most of the data, quote unquote, that our civilization puts into the world is not preserved, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like
No,
I don't.
there's so much of it.
Like if Christian isn't preserved for 3 million years,
Bro.
I'm not that bothered.
Callum's porn response is not going to be preserved.
Porn
It's
response.
porn bot response.
Oh, you mean all the comments he leaves on Pornhub? Like this one was alright.
Keep it up. Proud of you. It's like the whole problem with the internet is every village idiot has now got a platform, and especially
That's a good thing.
in Britain,
Yeah.
because we love someone that's mentally challenged. We just do. We love it. We love an idiot. We love a questionable nonce, and we love giving them a platform and pinging questions at them. Like Cal the Dragon. We love that. Was it 3 Shot Eye or whatever? The guy that was like. went
Oh
out-
yeah, the blonde guy.
Yeah, that does like the wee tick. He's
The
like 45
40-year-old,
and he does like
yeah.
wee TikTok dances, and he's like went out with a
Oh, he's
60-year-old.
such a
We love
fucking
him.
freak.
Like we love it. We just love
I've
it.
never heard of any of these people.
Oh,
Just need to get yourself on British TikTok.
I
mate.
haven't either.
I've not even got TikTok, and I know these guys, which actually is probably a bad reflection on
Well,
me.
the problem is you're giving
Chronicle
village
line
idiots
that
a
I'm.
platform, and you're giving them
Yeah.
power, and they tends to be fucking psycho nut
And
jobs.
the Mungos coming thing. That's a good
Well,
example.
Yeah.
There we go. 4 village idiots right here.
But-
But we are with none of the nonsense. We're normal
Do you-
people.
I heard someone say the same thing about Kanye West, about like how people are like mad at him for being mental, but it's like how, what the hell do you do with someone who's mental and has that platform? You know, why do you expect him to act normal?
Yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you're saying, well, clearly he's mentally unwell.
Yeah, you accept that he's
Yeah,
mental
very
unwell, and
mental
yet
well,
you treat him
and
like
then
he
you're
isn't.
yeah, exactly, and then you're also
Yeah.
demonising him for the things he's doing. Was like, well, if he's mentally unwell, he's not really in charge of
I
that.
still
Yeah.
think Cat Williams, and he talked a lot of pish the rest of that.
Oh, that was it. That was a Cat Williams interview.
Was it? Is
yeah,
that-
it was. Yeah.
I mean, it made a good point. Yeah.
Well, Kanye is in control of his life enough where he knows he's mentally ill, medical professionals have told him he's mentally ill, and he deliberately does not take their medical advice and do anything to make his situation better. So I think for that he is culpable for the...
Like most mentally ill people. Really, let's be
No,
honest.
I actually don't like Kanye West. I think the guy's a total waster, to be honest.
Fair play.
Did anyone listen to his new album?
Yeah.
Was it good?
No.
No, it was awful.
It's
What was that? What was that song where it's like, oh god, it's big beautiful big titted butt naked women just
Oh,
up out the
yeah.
sky, you know. Man, that was a fucking banger of a lyric.
Who was that with? It was with someone. Was it?
It's
Ty Dolla
Ty Dolla
Sign.
Sign. Ty Dolla
Yeah,
Sign's the
was it?
only person that's like, do you know what, I'm sticking with Kanye.
I mean,
He's the
what
only
else he
person
got
left.
going?
I heard he had a verse on one of his songs where he just says the line, "I'm just here to get paid," over and over about 20 times, which is leaves us honest.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Honestly.
He references the fact, I think he calls his new wife a reference in the
Yeah.
album, like my
Oh
wife
my
is a
God.
reference.
No, that's so... That is actually the most mentally ill thing that I've noticed, that I mean, I actually quite like Kim Kardashian. I'd say maybe she's verging on friend of the pod. Like, whenever I've seen her, she seems quite intelligent.
Big honor.
Rogue
Quite-
Scarlet this then.
I don't know if she's that intelligent, mate.
She seems quite intelligent, she seems quite mentally stable.
Kim K's agent is phoning her like, do you know you're mentioned on the Mungos podcast? Possible friend of the pod.
But I'm saying, Kim, you're out there. Is she single? I don't know.
I think she's
No,
very
she's still dating
Don't, you're going to
Pete
say Pete
Davidson,
Davidson.
yeah.
That ended ages ago,
I
right?
thought they were dating still.
no.
They're not married.
They're
or
about 2 years
something?
behind.
Hey, I'm
No.
just saying, Kim K, she seems nice to me. I've always liked
She
her.
seems very out of touch.
Well, I mean,
Well,
Kanye West is,
billionaire.
you know, out of touch with reality pretty much.
Yeah, but at least we, you know. fair
But
play to him.
the most mental disturbing thing is that he forced Kim to separate from him. Immediately started dating a woman who looks like her double, and now is basically trying to humiliate her publicly by parading her around completely naked and not letting her speak, except through him.
Oh, he also like changed all his teeth recently. Did you see that? He's got his teeth
No,
out.
he's got platinum grills.
What,
It's not grills though, it's crowns.
Is it?
He literally got his teeth filed down and then put
Oh,
crowns in.
fuck, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's gone off the deep end. He says.
Is he still racist?
He doesn't take dental hygiene
I think
seriously.
so.
He's gone off the deep end.
Listen, you can tell a lot about a person by looking at their teeth. That's all I'll say.
Mm.
But yeah, no,
You can't with me because I've got none, so haha.
that is true.
And
I
also
will
the
say
fact that
the new falsos are looking good. By the way.
Thank you, bro.
I know it's a platinum.
And the fact that he's now, I mean, I liked the album Jesus is King. I thought it was quite good, to be honest. But then he had that old term. He's like, I'm a Christian, and has done basically nothing to prove it since.
He sucked off in public, he was.
Yeah, in a boat on a canal in Venice, right?
Pretty,
By his wife, who I heard that he's not legally married to,
how did he get married to her?
because it was an unofficial ceremony. It's not legally recognised. So I don't think that woman Bianca something is actually legally his
Bianca
wife.
West, surely.
Well, if it's not legal, then presumably she won't be taking his name.
Right.
Yeah.
Bianca East, may I like.
Brilliant.
I have some internet culture I was going to bring up. I
Yeah?
just remembered to bring it up. Has anyone seen the zeitgeist phenomenon of Pookie Bear and
I have seen that.
Yes, I have
Yeah.
seen that. And Princess Pookie Bear is looking fantastic
Princess
tonight.
Pookie? Princess Fairy Pookie is looking fire tonight.
Fire.
What?
What do we think of it? Because personally, I was watching it, right, and all these people are like, this is ridiculous. But I was thinking about it, and I thought, you know what? I'm on the side of love. I think this is sweet, because whether you think these two people are extremely materialistic and kind of shallow, fair enough. But they've clearly found their forever person, as
They really
Pookie
have.
Bear would see.
Yeah.
Like they are
Who
perfect
the
for each
hell are
other.
they?
It's
There are a
it's
couple
this-
on TikTok that do like sort of fit check videos where the guy essentially wears the same outfit every single video. He wears a shirt, he wears a blazer, and he wears suit trousers.
Nice.
And Pookie Bear wears these like ridiculous, like gaudy, like
No.
dresses and
So
stuff.
like Harry
That's a bit
style.
unfair. The essential component is that they're this very white, very waspish American couple in their 30s, and they go to all these ridiculous high society events and restaurants. And
Where
then,
are they going?
what do you mean?
What? How did they get invited? Did they just go on or?
Was it money? I don't know.
I don't know.
They're
That's,
elites.
it's a big club, and we ain't in it, Callum. I don't know how they get invited.
Not yet.
Are they
Not
both
yet.
kind of good? Are they good looking? Or?
He looks like slightly chubby guy who works in investment banking.
You can
Yeah.
picture him.
Her name is literally Campbell. That's how waspish she is. Her first name is Campbell.
Her first name is Campbell.
Her first name is Campbell.
What's her surname?
Oh, what a terrible name.
Campbell's not a woman's name.
It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I
Terrible
think
name as well.
I think it's sweet.
Have you seen the tweet? It was like a comment on TikTok where a woman was apologising for a previous comment she'd made in one of the videos. I think making fun of some random facial tic that the girl has or whatever. And then she was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought it there. I really am sorry for doing that. I mean, I know I really despise your videos, but I should never have brought it to a physical thing. And also, your husband is 100% gay, and I've never been motion with anything in my life."
Yeah,
That's the end of it.
everyone says that the husband is gay, but he's not. He's just a bit fruity with it.
What are they called?
I can respect
He's
that.
not even that fruity with it.
I actually think that's the thing. It's like he literally is just a wife guy, as
Yeah.
they say. He's just a guy who
It's
loves.
like, and my Pookie Bear's looking fantastic now. She's got. He doesn't even know. Like, one thing I've picked up on is he doesn't know what parts of the clothing are. So he's like, oh, this kind of tail-looking thing or whatever. Like he.
That's
if he
a
was
that's
that
a man's
fruity
man.
with it, then he
That's
would,
a
he would
man's
know
No,
the
actually,
intricacies
that's
of
the
it.
thing. He's a wife guy. He just loves his wife, and he's obviously well off, and he loves just buying her things. It's like, you know what,
I
fair
like that.
enough.
Fair play. Fair
I like
play.
these people, and
Well-
yeah, the guy might be a bit fruity with it, but so what?
tidbit bullshit. Here we go. Right, this is it.
Yeah, again, well, just in case this is anyone's first time experiencing a Mungo podcast, please let the viewer know what tidbit.
Give us a tidbit bullshit explanation.
Well, I think it's something from the previous. Well, I've decided it's from the previous podcast, and then I like to say 2 facts that are true and 1 fact that's false. Right, so it's 2 truths and a lie, basically, but it's tidbit bullshit, right?
And we have to guess, obviously, which ones are true and which ones are false.
Right, so all of these are based off John Fury and the wider travelling community.
It took a second, like, what's the right word again?
Right, so fact number 1, John Fury's uncle, Tyson Fury's uncle, Peter Fury, was involved in, he taught Tyson Fury to box and that, he was involved in serious criminal charges, he was in human trafficking, and he still runs it from prison. That's fact
Of course that's true.
Human trafficking?
Of course that's true.
Fact
Why would you
number
make
one.
that up?
Fact number 1. Fact number 2, in many gypsy households, in many Irish travelling
This one's false.
in many Irish travelling communities, when there is an itch on the body, that means somebody's going to die in the household.
Yeah, total rubbish.
That's number-
Itch on the body.
You'd have to have a lot of family members who are due to be dead, because you might get itchy quite a lot.
Right, what's
And
the
So what's the second truth, Callum? I mean the third one?
In fact, for number 3, the first spinning reel in anthropological history was discovered by an Irish travelling community.
Can you perhaps tell us what a spinning
Yeah, what's a
reel
spinning reel?
is?
Spinning reel, you get big chunks of wool and you put it into thread. That's a spinning reel.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
The
Yeah.
first one ever was invented by an Irish person.
No, Irish travelling community discovered.
Discovered.
So the
What do you mean
options
by
are...
discovered? You mean invented?
Do you mean like
in
they
a bog.
discovered the oldest one, or
Yeah, they found it. Like they found the first one. They were just.
You mean
like,
travellers found the first one,
Yeah.
or the first one was
no,
found
no,
to
they
belong?
found it. They didn't like make it. They
Right, well
found
the second one's false.
So so the
It's
two
honestly-
very realistic ones and another one
Yeah.
that's like, if you have a kid with eczema, it's a warning of a genocide that's about to happen.
Yeah, absolute rubbish as per. Second one is obviously false. And the fact that on the second one, no, on the first one you corrected yourself. You said, Tyson, no, you said Tyson Fury's. If it was fake, you would never have corrected yourself because you would you spew out any bullshit and just go with it.
Tyson Fury does have an uncle who did train him called Peter, because I obviously read the
Right,
Tyson
it's
Fury
obviously
autobiography.
true then.
But I don't know if he was involved in human trafficking. I imagine he probably was.
I did it once. I did the one tidbit bullshit, which is in episode 2 for anyone who wants to listen. And I got you on the first one. And he isn't. I actually don't think he'll ever get us.
You made me believe that Yoko Ono's dad went neurodivergent for 16 years. Sorry,
Yeah,
non-verbal for
that
16
is-
years.
That is a bit absurd. But
And
anyway,
then graduated college 2 years later.
what are you guessing? What's the
The
false?
second one is false.
I also agree.
I'm going to be embarrassed if the second one isn't false.
Maybe the third one actually.
The second one.
Whoa, we haven't decided.
Oh, alright.
The thing
And
is
I feel
though,
as though I was
Nah,
wrong
you
because he
think
had,
you was wrong, he had his finger
he
up.
had a shit-eating grin on his
Look,
face.
guys, he never actually. So, clarify please. The third one, the wheel, right?
They found an Irish travelling community was digging about somewhere and they found this old spinning reel.
When
Right.
was this from?
And this is they found, and
It's
this
like
is the oldest
1970.
one.
That was like
No, but when-
Neolithic.
Neolithic.
It's old as fuck.
So
man.
they were spinning yarn in the Neolithic
Yeah.
period.
In Ireland. Old as fuck, man.
I don't believe that. To be honest, that sounds
Was
weird.
this preserved in a bog,
Yeah, something
perhaps?
like that, yeah. I don't really know how it was preserved, but it's something like that.
I don't know.
I don't want to say the second one now because
So he had his finger up and he had a
He
big
might be
breath.
doing-
Yeah, he was
Ready-
doing
ready
it-
to
he
say,
was doing it.
fuck you.
he was doing the nerd face emoji with the finger up.
Actually...
You might be trying to double bluff you though.
What was it? Well, you already said that he did have an uncle who was called Peter. So,
Tyson Fury does have an uncle called Peter and he did train him.
so what would be the catch there? Oh, he does have an uncle called Peter, but he's actually an accountant. He's never been criminally tried.
He has been criminally tried.
Okay,
I just don't know if it's for
Sex
human
trafficking.
trafficking.
That'd be a bit rubbish if you're like, no, it's actually for assault.
Tax evasion.
Having fun.
Um,
And then
do travellers have to pay tax?
Well, yeah. If they,
I'm sure if they can find them,
employment, yeah.
I mean, they're not paying PAYE.
They don't. Yeah, I don't think they pay council tax.
They pay national insurance?
Presumably, well, they're meant to, but I imagine if you're
If
getting
you,
like
if you up, if you
fighting or
uproots,
whatever,
if
then
you
probably
uproots
not.
enough, then probably not.
Do you know what? I'm going to live and die by it. I'm just going to say the second one is false still.
So, I don't know.
If
I
you
think
want-
from Calm's reaction, I think it probably is true, but that's fine. I'll go with that.
I kind of want to go with the third one, but I'll be different. I'll
The
go
third
with
one just seems strange.
I don't. Why would they be?
It doesn't seem right.
They wouldn't be making.
It just doesn't seem right to me.
They wouldn't be making shirts in the Neolithic
Something
era.
something just doesn't add up with that one.
Yeah, that doesn't
So
make-
I'm going with the third one.
But no, maybe we're gonna look dumb now if we go for the third one. That turns out the second one was false.
I think what Calm's done is
We don't all need to go for the same one. You know this.
No, we do.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we have to concur.
We do.
They have to vote
That's
on it.
definitely-
In the past, Calm's lie has always been utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
But that's
maybe
why you could've
he's learned
adapted.
his lesson after that.
No, I wanted to quiz him. So if there's an itch on anyone in the entire family, every time there is an itch, that means somebody's going to die.
Supposedly.
What do you mean supposedly?
That's what they think.
Can they not just get an itchy
So there's
bum every
there's
now and
never
again,
a
though?
time where they have a scratchy arse and they think, oh no, nobody's going to die this time.
I think it's like serious itch, like proper, like you're scratching like fuck.
What, like a nettle sting?
Like your hair's really itchy or whatever. Yeah, something caused by
Right, okay.
a rash or something.
I'll
don't
go
think-
with the second one if you think it is, but I think
how
it's the
long
third
has
one
that?
personally.
How long has that belief persisted within the traveller
10
community?
years.
I don't know.
Since you made it up 5 minutes ago,
I
yeah.
don't know how long, mate. No idea.
Well, you should have some idea because you've presumably done research for this.
Well, yeah, some.
Or you didn't have to do any research because it came out your arse. Sorry, I forgot about
Well,
that.
in the John Fury book, apparently he said that murder of crows is a sort of forewarning for,
Death.
death.
Yeah,
And
they
then
are.
at
But
one
then
point there was
everything's a
like
forewarning for
he
death.
said there was like 35 crows that were attacking the roof of the trailer, and then a week later his grand died or something like that. But
35 crows.
there was a lot of crows. It's a lot of crows.
That's a bad
It is,
omen.
it's terrifying.
But a crow's in general a bad omen. That's not just a travelling thing, I don't think.
Yeah, no, but he was saying it was in the community.
I mean-
My guess is the third one, but I'm fine going for the second one if you guys think that.
I actually think the second one sounds plausible enough.
I think it's the third
As long
one.
as it's not like your kid has eczema, then it's like, well,
Your dad's deed.
that's the. But I think if it's like, if it's a really, really bad.
I'm kind of annoyed because I was sure the second one was the bullshit one, but
I think he's learned his lesson. I think he's like, maybe
He's
trying to make
adapted.
a realistic one.
Maybe we're giving him too much credit, but I think it's the third one. Sorry, third one. Because something just doesn't add up about it.
let's go
let's
with
stare at him Villa, and see if he breaks.
let's go with the third one. Do you want to?
Why are you doing a duck
Yeah.
face?
But if you guys want to do the second one, you should go with the second one.
I don't know. Instinct is telling me the second one, but now the heart is telling me the second one. The head is telling me the second one.
Callum likes
The third one.
Callum likes
I was gonna
mystique. He likes folklore and stuff like that.
That's
So
true,
I
it
think
does.
that would attract him to lie about something like an itchy bum, meaning your grand's gonna die or whatever.
So you still think it's the second one? then?
No, I think it's unfair to judge it by this, but I think the reaction, the shit-eating grin on his face when Aidan said the second one suggests probably that is not the case.
Does
That's
it
true.
literally mean anytime you
Don't
have an
know.
What do you mean you don't know?
It's. I think it's a serious itch. Like it's not like because obviously if you've got like an itchy arse, like that's every day. It's like they've been
You
fucking.
have an itchy arse every day.
Well, you might
Need to wipe
get
better.
seen.
No,
Yeah, I
I
was
mean
gonna
you
say,
might want to scratch your
wash your
cheek
arse.
occasionally or whatever. You might want to scratch your beard. It's not like every time you scratch your first.
So when you read up on this, what did it say?
It said.
Where did you
I'm
where did you
sorry.
find this?
When you read up on this, what did it say? What did it say?
Where did I find it? I typed in fucking. I typed in.
No, that's a fake laugh. That's the fake
Well,
laugh he
tell
does.
us. come on.
I typed in. Well, I typed in Irish traveller facts on.
Did you type
Google.
in Irish travel
I
facts
typed in
and then you typed in
Irish-
something else?
I typed in Irish traveller facts on.
Okay.
Google.
Clicked on the Daily
No, it
Mail.
wasn't on Google.
It was
So
on
that's
the-
straight away, like, because we know you don't use
It
Google.
was on DuckDuckGo, and I scrolled down the result, and I'd clicked on one of them.
And that's what it said about the
And
itchy thing.
it was like superstition in travelling culture,
And that's what he read
and I
about
had
the
to
itchy
read-
thing.
and I had to read through. Yeah,
Right, the itchy thing's definitely rubbish because he did the laugh that he does when he's lying.
I don't know. I think that's.
The itchy one's rubbish. That was the fake laugh he does when he's lying. I'm sure of it.
He's got that wee grin on his face again.
He did.
He's got you in his trap.
Do you know what? I'd rather die on instinct. So I'm going to say I'm going to vote for the second one to be the
What do
falsehood.
you think, Tom?
Last I'll vote for the third one, but it's up to you. You can be the
It's up to you
tiebreaker.
then.
I think I'm going to also vote for the third one, sorry.
Okay, fine.
Right. So, is the third one being false?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So, Tyson Fury's Uncle Peter, yeah, obviously, that's true. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
went to jail, obviously, right.
Good start.
The first spinning reel was not discovered by. Wasn't, no. According to,
Let's go.
I don't really know. The thing is, I don't know how
I
to
fucking
do
knew
this,
it.
'cause
I fucking knew it.
I didn't ask, like,
What happens
a
to that instinct,
traveller
mate?
or whatever. I went on some dodgy website and had a read, and they said that an itch in the family. The thing was, I wanted to find a superstition that was consistent, and basically a lot of them are quite complicated. So it's like a black cat before a wedding
Yeah.
is good luck, but a black cat after a wedding is bad luck, or they vary. That one, it was if there's a itch
It's
in
almost as if it's irrational nonsense.
If
Yeah.
you have an itchy da, then something bad is going
the
to
yeah,
happen.
it's like
If
but-
you're scratching your dad and he's, moaning because of how pleasurable it is, something bad might
but
happen.
the
He's
thing
slapping his foot against the ground.
The thing
like
is,
a dog.
it's all bullshit. So they go like oh,
Yeah, at least in civilization we have myths and we make up rubbish, but at least it's consistent.
Like capitalism.